everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us. Okay. Parker just shared some information with me that I'm going to share too, because you guys might not know. I did not know. Apparently, if you're doing one of these on your own, it's called a solo pod, and they're very in. So look, I'm an in person today. Thank you, Parker, for allowing that to happen. Okay, of course, you can share your questions, type in the chat box. Actually, since I have the chat box pulled up so that we'll be able to talk to Parker also. If you have them throughout the presentation, we'll be able to address them as we go along. So I think you guys know us pretty well by now, but just real quick, I'm a real estate agent. I really consider myself more of like a dream maker. What do you envision for your life and for your family's life as far as real estate goes over the long haul, and as a part, it's not just a one-time transaction. I'm a part of VPR Luxury Properties, and I live on Lake Lanier, so I focus a lot on the lake and other luxury properties, and I love it. And I love to travel. That's my dad in that top left-hand corner, and he also is a realtor, and we work together closely a lot, especially on land deals. So he's actually going to meet a client that I talked to on the phone with yesterday about selling some land. So that's kind of cool. Parker can wave at you, I guess. And there he is. He is our sponsor of this webinar, and he also is a mortgage loan originator. He works for Homestar Financial. They've really been very helpful for our clients and even for me in making sure that we get the best service for you guys as you are trying to buy and sell your homes. He is experienced. We actually met about a decade ago, I would say, more than a decade ago now, in Memphis with education. And now in the mortgage industry, he has 3 main promises. And I could skip over this, Parker, since you can't talk, but I think they're really important, and I know, and they're true. So he promises that your loans will always close on time. He will over communicate. So will I. You guys probably hate that about us, or you love it. And you're going to get VIP customer service no matter who you are. Okay, so here we go. Entering into today's webinar, buying and selling unique properties. So Parker, I was trying to find a picture for our slideshow here of a unique property, but I was curious if you could tell us what's the most unique property you've ever seen. Oh, a riverboat. Wait for it. Okay. Wow. Okay, so Parker's most unique property he's ever seen was a riverboat that was put on a foundation on dry land. And he's asking, does that mean it's called a Land River boat? Parker's got all the jokes. In San Francisco, there's a park, and they've got the old woman in the shoe. It's more of a slide and something you can play on, but I always thought that would be a very unique property as well. And I just saw one on Instagram yesterday, somewhere in Arizona, I believe. It's made out of containers, like a shipping container, and they're all in these different directions, and some of them, they face the sun at different times of the day. So it looks really interesting, but a very unique property. So today we will cover what makes a property unique, what are steps you can take if you have a unique home that you are selling, and then what you would need to do if you're buying homes in unique locations, as well as there are challenges of unique homes, but there's also benefits. So we want to hit on that as well, just so you are well aware what you might be getting into when you're interested in buying a unique home. So what contributes to the uniqueness of a property? Well, we just kind of hit on 2 of them, which are the layout and then also the location. In the case of Parker's, his was a unique location because it was a riverboat that should be on the river, but instead it was on the land. But there's these are the main, there's lots of things that contribute to the uniqueness of a property, but these are ones that we see really often. In addition, some homes may have very extravagant upgrades to them that cause them to be set apart from other homes in that market. So that causes it to be unique. Anything you want to add, Parker? Okay. It's no fun. I don't have any questions yet. It's okay though. This is pretty straightforward. So there are steps to take when selling a unique home. Okay. I like the water slide one too. So does Parker. So when you're selling a unique home, okay, let's go back to this picture. When you're selling a unique home, you really want to capture the thing that is unique about it. And I actually want to speak to the location for a moment, because you might think like, well, that doesn't look very unique, those homes in that little town. But the reason why that would be unique is that they're waterfront homes. They're in it looks like a little community, a little town, but probably there's some other homes just a mile, or yeah, probably just a mile inland, that are a part of that same community, but very likely maybe don't cost as much because they don't have the waterfront or something like that. So it still makes it unique. So we have to think about what it is about your home that's making it unique. So the first thing we want to do is say, how can we capture that unique nature of your property? We're going to talk about that. Also, then how do we choose the right price? And then how will we capitalize on these things that we determine with a good strategic marketing plan? The main thing you should take away from this webinar, besides making sure you're working with an expert realtor and a really great loan officer, is don't shy away from the unique aspects of your property. Okay, so we talk about this visual experience and how important it is on anytime you're selling a home. But for unique properties, they're even more important, because you again want to capture the parts that are unique. And so if you, with your photography, it's going to be able to capture like spaces in a room or outside of the house that really make it stand out from other homes in the area, make it different. Aerial or drone photography is very wonderful as well for properties, especially if you're showing off a location or the layout of the house or how it is situated on a certain plot of land. And also video makes a big difference when you are trying to show how a house is used, like the space where the property is used. So the video can highlight those unique aspects of your home in a way that photos cannot. And then also a floor plan, which I'll show you an example on the next slide. But we have a question from Parker, and I think we should address it now before I go to the next slide. And that is, he's saying, aren't these things expensive? He thinks it's a big risk, or it could be a big risk for the owner to pay for these things if they've never even sold their unique home. And I think it's true. It's definitely a risk to pay for these things, Parker. But one thing I do, and I think most realtors, especially realtors that you're going to want to work with, are going to pay for these things for you up front. And for us, it's part of our professional services that we provide. And we know that in the end, when this house closes, that we'll be compensated for that through a professional fee or our commission. So for us, yes, it's still risky for us. We're not even getting paid until that house closes, but we want to make sure that the house is going to close. And we're going to do everything we can to get you not only to the closing table, but the highest and best price. Yeah, and so Parker's saying, oh, wow, so the listing agent will pay for these things on behalf of the seller. That's cool. Yes, Parker, many of them will. So, and they should. I believe they should. So this is an example of a floor plan and why it's so important. If you just saw pictures of the home, right, you're like, ooh, that's a cool dining room. That's a cool living room. I love that bedroom. But then when you started realizing how the bedrooms were laid out over there on the right-hand side of the house, or maybe from the frontal picture of the house and the back of the house picture, you didn't realize that this house was shaped like, what are the name of those fighters in Star Wars? Is it called a TIE fighter? X-Wing, maybe make more sense. We don't know. T-fighters, TIE fighters. But you don't know your house is shaped like this unless you can see a floor plan, and then you might not like it anymore, or you might love it. And you might also love that uniqueness. All right, so we've captured what's unique. We've kind of thought about that. The next thing we're going to do is choose the right price for your home. And one of these steps actually is also a part of capturing what is unique. Oh, Parker, great question. So he was saying, can't we get an interactive version of these? So yes, actually a lot of people do this, and I think it's a great idea for certain homes, is to do what's called a 3D floor plan. And the technology is called Matterport. And that's just, you know, an add-on to your photography session, but it's really worth it sometimes, where a person can walk through the house. It's kind of like looking at Google Street View at a neighborhood, and then really understanding where things are, how they are laid out. And also what's great about those is you'll be able to see this 2D floor plan, and there's usually like a picture of each area you can click on individually just to go into that room and experience it. So those are really helpful too. All right, let's choose the right price for your home. So the first way, we say this every time, and it's very important, find a realtor who's going to work for you and knows the market and this type of property. I live on Lake Lanier. I would be really surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone was like, Ashley, can you help us find a house in the mountains? But I would say yes. And the way I'm going to do that and serve you well is I know a great realtor who works up in the mountains in this part of Georgia. And I'm going to help you get referred to them so that they're the expert in that area. They're going to help you. They know that type of market. Same for when you're selling your home. You want someone who really knows the market in that type of property, because they're going to be able to help price it right, and they're going to be able to help you find the right kind of buyers. Your realtor, as in any home sale, will create or attempt to create a comparative market analysis of other homes that are similar, but we're talking about a unique home. So there's a chance that the comparative market analysis might be more of a kind of like guidelines that you will work within to be able to price your home. Then we would, or even before, when you are, you know, highlighting the unique nature, you'd be creating a list of high cost features, brands, materials that are in your house that maybe you can't tell by just looking at it. And we want people to be able to see all of these upgrades and things that are in your home that make it unique. From there, we will do, probably, if it's a very unique property, we will do an appraisal. Go back to here. So I'm actually just had another question come in. Thank you. I can't tell who's sending this question, but it says, how important are comps that are outside of the subject property's immediate radius when determining list price for a unique property? For example, my Hobbit home is the only Hobbit home in Forsyth County. I'd love to see it. Do you try and get comps of Hobbit homes in, say, East Tennessee? That's a good question. I would not personally, because the comparative market analysis really does focus on the unique markets. You might remember, or if you participated in our webinar before, you might remember that like every market, even these very small niche markets like Lake Lanier, for example, you could even say the south side of Lake Lanier sometimes is different than the north side of Lake Lanier. They're really gonna, for a realtor, that's where our expertise lies. But the appraisals often will be able to pull those other places, because they're going to be trying to find comparative homes. Just how much do they cost? How how much do they cost to build, like and then they would know the areas, what's happening in those different areas to be able to get us a good price for here as well. Good question. Okay, so now we're still capitalizing with our plan, but we've got to identify a target audience. Now, I do want to give a little plug for me, but also just for try to find a realtor who not only is someone you enjoy being with and someone who you trust, but if you're selling your home, someone who has an understanding of marketing and what that looks like, especially with unique homes, but I would say anytime. My background is in sales and marketing. I also have an MBA from Emory, which is where I went to undergrad too. But it helps a lot to think, because sometimes we just don't think about these things. Oh, I'm going to take these pictures, I'm going to put this video, make a little website and stick it online. And you hope that people are going to come and buy this property, but it's not that easy, especially with unique properties. You really want to be able to identify who your buyers are. So we have to ask questions like, who's likely going to purchase this type of home? Why are they purchasing this type of home? Are they highly qualified versus just interested in this type of home? And then the last bullet there is just remember, unique homes aren't for everyone. They're not for most people. So don't get discouraged if it takes a little bit longer to sell or to find buyers to come and look at your. I also think, Parker, this might be a good time for me to just mention, chat me if I should keep going. But a unique home doesn't have to be like a weird home. I currently have a home on the market that we just put on the market at the beginning of the month, or beginning of February, on Lake Lanier. So it's like a normal lake home. It's priced really great for somebody who wants to maybe have a weekend home or a home that they go to for a couple of weeks at a time. I could live there full time, but maybe a big family couldn't, or if they have to commute into the city a lot for work. But the thing that makes it unique is that it's 45 minutes from Alpharetta or places like that, 45 minutes, where you're probably going to be spending more time with other friends. It's on the lake. It's in the end of a cove. So there's water levels that you have to deal with and know to push your dock in and out. So those are types of things that also make a home unique. And so part of my job as a realtor is to educate not just potential buyers who I don't even meet because they're with another agent, but those other agents, because a lot of them don't know Lake Lanier. And so being able to explain what to think about in the decision of the home is very important. Okay, Parker's adding a side note here for us, just so we can work with it. It's a working definition for unique. Maybe a traditional property in a unique market, or a unique property in a traditional market, or a unique property in a unique market. I think that's a great working definition for a unique property. But I think that kind of goes back to that first slide where there's different things that can contribute to the uniqueness of a home. Parker, did you take the LSAT? Okay, well, he thought that would be a great question for the LSAT. And he almost took it, but instead he went into education to feed the minds of young people and help them become lawyers themselves. All right, we've identified who our target buyer is. Now we are going to reach this target audience. So we have a target buyer and we got to find where they are and actually reach them. So these are some good questions for you to ask your realtor. Number one, what groups or networks are you affiliated with? That will help me get my unique home sold. Now remember, based on Parker's definition that he just shared, your home might be unique because it's in a unique market situation. It might be unique because the property itself is kind of unique based on its market, or it might just be like a very unique home, kind of like me, a unique person. So what kind of groups or networks are you affiliated with that can help get it sold? And I'm going to point just over to the right-hand side of the screen real quick. There are two groups in particular that I share with my sellers almost every time I have a meeting, or every time I have a meeting with them, just to remind them that these are two groups that help me be networked with the types of buyers who are going to buy homes that not just anybody can buy. One of my homes I'll be putting on the market soon is a $5 million home on Lake Lanier. And that's unique because there are very few homes that are priced over $3 million on Lake Lanier. And so I need these other networks with people like Realm and the Guild for the Certified Luxury Home Marketing group that I'm in, to be able to have clients in that would be able to access this type of $5 million property really easily. So those are the types of things you want to be talking about or asking your realtor about. No, Parker, the house is not made of gold, but it's on Lake Lanier and it's got wide open lake views, beautiful views from every room in the house. There's also a heated infinity pool. So, and the lake's pretty close to the house, but like when you're out there on the patio and you're in the pool, you're just staring as though you're in the lake. It's pretty amazing. So I'll look forward to sharing that with you when I get it on the market. All right, how will you market? Realtor, how are you going to market this house to the specific type of buyer? Because I have a unique location. That's a really good question because, for example, if I put an ad in the Lake Lanier magazine or a Boaters magazine or on or did paid Google ads for people who are interested in lake properties, but I'm selling a mountain property or I'm selling a farm, then I'm probably not going to be reaching the type of buyer who actually wants to be in that kind of location. So those are the types of things they should be thinking about. And then the other last thing I think is so important, and a lot of people forget about, including realtors, but if you ask them, they will keep you up to date. How will you keep me updated with any marketing successes? And how are you going to win, and how are you going to recommend changes to them? Because we can make a great plan, but if it's not working, or if we're not getting the results that we're looking for, then we need to be changing those as quickly as possible to get you the results you're looking for. Yep, Parker, that he said my house that I'll be listing sounds like his vacation home. I think you would love it as your vacation home. You'll have to come up to the lake and see it one day soon, maybe in the summer. I just mentioned Realm as one of the groups that I'm a part of. This is a group of, they say, the top half of 1% of real estate professionals globally. And so what that means generally is they're realtors who are very collaborative and very wanting everybody to succeed in our group, but also they're working, many of them are working with the most wealthy and elite income brackets that are out there. So that helps me when I'm working with my clients to say, how am I going to sell this home? So here's an example. This is the home I'm going to be listing. It was a picture taken. It's not a great picture, but it's a picture that was taken when everything was dead and you can't really see the pool over there and all that, but it's probably good. I hid the address as well. But what I did was I made like a pretend listing inside of my Realm group. And so what we can see is things like in the group of Realm, there are 530 clients of these real estate agents who have lifestyle matches to what this lake property offers. They also have matches to the price point and to the area of where it is. So, and those are high matches. There's 1,600 other matches. I don't know if you can see that, but those are high matches. So most likely 530 people aren't going to be looking for this home. But what if 0.5% of them are? I've got 2 to 3 clients right there that I just need to reach out to my network and say, here's a house for them, and they might be jumping on it. Yeah, thanks, Parker. He says, this is so cool. I would want my realtor to have access to something like this. I love this. This is really cool technology. Realm's really proud of it. But honestly, the thing that we love the most about Realm is how collaborative of a group it is, and how wonderful these agents are. Just really, everybody just wants the best and wants success for everyone. So it's really awesome, and they're so down to earth. Okay, so in other webinars, we talk about how we're going to keep, when we're selling a home, how we're going to stand apart from the competition, right? So we do want to do that with our unique home, but we don't want to just stand apart. We want to get noticed. And we're going to make sure we do that by using that high quality photography and videography on all of our marketing materials, whether that is brochures, print materials, whether that's social media, always using high quality. If there are any unique rooms or unique spaces in the property, you want to make sure it's staged before the photos and videos happen. And the reason for that is a lot of people, if they just see a picture of a space and they don't know what it's used for or what it could be used for, it's really hard for them to imagine that without being able to see it staged that way. With our high quality photography, we're going to create high quality brochures, landing pages, post, print ads. I mean, your realtor should be making a landing page that is just for your property, ideally. And they can have, even the address could be 123mainstreet.com. And then that way people know to just go there, or it could be called Infinity Lake Lanier Home or something like that, right? You name that landing page based on what you're trying to do. And also, speaking of landing pages, ask your realtor, what kind of traffic are you getting to your website on a regular basis? And then based on the marketing that you're doing for particular properties, what kind of traffic are you getting? If they only get like a few visitors a day, that is not probably the realtor who's going to sell your house by putting these types of things out on the internet. So something to think about. And then also we advertise in ways that cater to the target buyer. We talked about that before. If they are like a rancher looking for land, we're not going to put that advertisement in a Lake magazine. Parker is asking us, do you create and market landing pages specific to luxury properties? Of course, and I also do this for any property. It doesn't have to be luxury. I just listed a $75,000 acre up in for a friend, some land near the mountains actually, and there's a landing page for that. It does not matter to me. I think it's really important to be able to really make that a special page for the client. It allows them to have a way to get their friends to know about the property as well, and also I can track who's actually coming to that page or learning about that property. Did I answer your question, Parker? Okay. Okay, so hopefully now you guys have an idea of some ways that you need to think about when you're selling homes in unique locations. Now we're going to talk about buying homes in unique locations. The main thing is you want to find an agent who's experienced in that unique setting, someone who lives or spends a lot of time there. So again, ideally, I'm not going to be the agent helping you find a mountain property. I'm not going to say I haven't done that. I have. But if somebody's very picky or really wants to know about a certain area, I will 100% refer that out to another agent who knows it really well. But on the lake, I hope you would give me a call anytime if you were buying a property here, because I live here. I know every nook and cranny of the lake, and I know the rules and regulations of the lake. So that's the kind of agent that you want if you're buying or selling, or buying, yeah, either on Lake Lanier, but especially buying at this moment. That's what we're talking about. So for waterfront properties, and there's so many things to consider, but the main thing for this slide that we just wanted to call out for you today is it's really important when you're looking at waterfront properties. It can be advertised as waterfront, It can be advertised as water views, water access, water privilege. Those are all different things. Just because it has water privilege or water access does not mean it's waterfront. It might not even mean, it probably doesn't even mean you have a dock sometimes. So so you really need to think about what are the lifestyle pieces that I'm most interested in from being on the waterfront. And then your agent will be able to whittle through the types of properties that are for sale to get you what you're looking for. Or if they pay a team to call people, they, like me, they might be able to find you something that's not even on the market if you're willing to be a little patient. In the mountains, there are sometimes a few more challenges or things that you might not consider. So we'll talk about that in the next section. But there's so many benefits to your overall well-being. So this agent, you're going to want to think, what is most important to me about being on in the mountains? Is it the views? Is it hearing a stream trickling by? Is it that I get to be far away from any of my neighbors? Think through that. And then when you're working with your agent, they'll be able to help whittle down the properties to what you're looking for, and then help you work through the challenges for each property as well, so that you can pick the one that's best for you. Oh, and on our website, dreamsmithrealty.com, we actually have made a lot of different types of brochures on our website for tips for buying in the winter, tips for selling in the winter. But this one in particular, we launched this brochure, Lake Lanier Real Estate Tips for Buyers and Sellers, about 1 month ago. So that's on our website. If you're interested in checking it out, you can either flip through it right there on the website with the flip book, or you can download it. If you give us your name and email address, we'll be able to email that to you and then stay in touch too. Oh, Parker loves this guide. He says this is a great guide. Thank you, Parker. Well, Parker just told me that he would want to live in the mountains because he loves the mountain air. But just don't you guys remember about 5 minutes ago, he said that this $5 million home on Lake Lanier is his vacation property. So now I'm a little confused. Tell us about that, Parker. Ah, the joke was he prefers the mountains. Oh, we know you don't own a $5 million vacation home. So you would choose the mountains 100% over the lake if you had a choice. Cool. What about the ocean? No, okay. Too much sand for him, too hot. See, I love the mountains. I think I love the fresh air. I love the nature, but it's too cold for me. Almost always. Like I might be warm during the day, but as soon as the sun starts going behind those mountains, I'm a little too cold. Yeah, Parker's mountain, lake, ocean. I love the ocean, but I think I'd also have it number 3. I'd probably be lake, mountains, ocean. Yeah. But I will say, if I get to buy a vacation property in the next few years, I'd probably buy one at the ocean. Part of that is because I have a friend who already has one in the mountains, so I figured we could go to both that way. All right, so here's some considerations for buying unique properties, especially waterfront and mountain properties. And these are challenges. Sometimes if you are, especially if this is a second home and or a more expensive home, like a luxury home, it may take you longer to get a home loan. This is where I really wish Parker had more of a voice, but I'm gonna read his chatting furiously. So it may take you longer to get a home loan. And then you can just work with your lender to determine how you're gonna creatively finance that. I know Parker is really good at creative financing, but for this, I think, especially if the home is just a little bit more expensive or something, a lot of our clients that we've worked with have done, there's jumbo loan options, and It depends on the property features. Now I'm reading Parker's text. It depends on the property features. There are a ton of different products and options. It's not something to be afraid of. 100% agree, Parker. There may also be some additional costs. For example, flood insurance or wind insurance, depending on where the home is. Like down in Miami, where my brother lives, they have to pay for both of those as a part of their home insurance. So it's quite expensive in Miami because of all the hurricanes. And then here on the lake or in many other places, you may not be allowed to change certain things on your property or what you think is your property based on regulations. So on Lake Lanier, for example, in many lakes, they're owned and run by the Army Corps of Engineers. So they, in my parents' yard, for example, their property line ends at their driveway. And then even though their yard to the lake is beautiful and everyone would say, that's your yard, it's really not theirs, it's the Corps of Engineers. So there's so many things they can't do on that property. And that brochure I just talked about a couple slides ago actually addresses that a little bit too. Some other challenges, maybe the maintenance of the home could be a little different than just a traditional home in a neighborhood. On the waterfront, for example, you might be also having to maintain your dock, your seawall, your riprap. On the lake, there's a few times more moisture issues that you just want to know about and be aware of. And then on the ocean too, that salt water can really impact the maintenance of your home. In the mountains, or in a lot of places, but in the mountains, you might have less access to certain utilities. So that's something you'd want to consider and think about. And then also the commute time to and from your work, to and from your primary residence could be important to you as well, and just something to consider when you're buying. And then lastly, there might be zoning restrictions for like what you can actually build or add on to your property. But there are benefits, of course, and these are just a few. There's many more. The main benefits that we think about a lot and talk to our clients about a lot, that our clients are telling us why they're looking for these types of homes, is there often are financial benefits. You get the appreciation, because a higher rate of appreciation oftentimes, because there's usually less inventory available for buyers. So once you've bought, if you want to sell one day, you often are going to get that bigger rate of return. Also, if you're just using this as a second home or a vacation home, you could potentially get rental income when you're not there. Again, that will depend on the regulations of the government or wherever you are. And then wonderful living conditions, just like this space where you can be in nature or hear the water all day long, or be warm or be cold if you don't like being warm. So many things that add to, and just being away from the hustle and bustle of the city. That's all. Do you have any other benefits you'd like to add, Parker, on that you can think of? All right, thank you. So lastly, I've talked about referring you. Let's say you wanted to buy a mountain home. I would rather refer that to somebody who's really an expert in mountain homes. But this also, if you're selling or buying any property, but especially a unique property that you're like, I don't know who a great agent would be, in any city, we can help you. We have connections. I've shared with you about Realm, but there's other in the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing. We have connections with top real estate agents throughout the whole country and even the entire world that we can help connect you with, and we would like to do that. So if you are even thinking about it and not sure who to call, just give us a call and we will connect you with somebody. Great. All right, do we have any more questions? I think I've been addressing them as we've gone along, but let's see if anybody pops one in there in the next 20 seconds. All right, while we're waiting, Parker, do you have anything else you'd like to tell everybody? with your non-talking voice. I can even try it in a lower. Oh, I'm happy to talk next month. All right, great. I'm happy for you to talk next month too. I was really excited. My dad, I told you guys, he does real estate with me, and I took him into one of my upcoming listings yesterday, and we were doing a walkthrough. Just what are all the things we need to do to get the house ready to put it on the market and get top dollar and not have it discounted. And it was really fun doing that with him. So I told him our next webinar next month is going to be things to consider when right before you sell your house, like staging or decluttering. What does that really look like? And when people say, like, do I really have to do this? Yes, you do. Or no, you don't. But here's what those differences in your profits might look like. So we'll hit on that either next month or sometime in the near future. Oh, we just got a question. Yes. This question is, how does a luxury real estate agent get a $5 million listing? Wow. Do you, I don't know who, okay, well, there's a lot of ways you can get these listings, I guess. The past 2 listings I've gotten have been quite high priced for the lake also. And I think part of it is being known or perceived as someone who's actually an expert in the area. People who have high, oh, thank you. Okay, this is from a question from Dave. All right, Dave, now I can answer your question better. People who have higher priced homes often, or I mean, hopefully anybody, but especially people who have higher priced homes often they have teams around them who are experts in all aspects of their life. And so if they're selling their home or buying another home, they're going to want someone who is an expert in that realm. And so through various marketing I've done, webinars like this, and a lot of persistent phone calling and door knocking, that's how this luxury real estate agent got that $5 million listing. All right, thank you, Dave. Thanks for participating in our webinar today too. That's all the questions we have. So one last shout out to Parker here, sponsoring our webinar. Thank you so much, Parker and Homestar. And if you want to reach out, you can give us an email, firstfridayrealestate@gmail.com, or give us a call. Thanks so much. We'll see you next month. Bye.